Ghost 1, checking on Victor 15.
2.
Okay, continue your startup, standby words on weather. So we've got information India here at Gunsan today, pressure setting 1011. We're on runway 36, visual conditions, wind is 030, blowing at 14, averaging 14, gusting to 23. We've got 10 kilometre visibility, clouds few at 5,000, and the temperature is 21 degrees.
2. Who's the line up ready?
Copy 2. Just for reference, just the way we clear it in this, just to keep it clean, everyone will just tend to wait until the flight lead calls 1 is ready to taxi, and then everyone just piles in after that. So when you hear 1 is ready to taxi, or call when ready to taxi, 1 is ready, because the flight lead will wait till he's ready, then we just do it in aircraft sequence. So for example, if we were a 4 ship and 2 wasn't ready yet, everyone else just stays quiet until calls 2's ready, and then you'll get a massive sort of 3's ready, 4's ready, really quickly immediately after that. So again, just for reference, we'll spend a lot of time, Fiscus, doing sort of this over the next couple of flights, just as we get used to just how we syntax things in 7-2 Squadron. It's no drama, as you know. It's just let you know how we do our stuff, as it were.
Absolutely.
Ghost 1, call when ready to taxi, 1 is ready.
2 ready.
Goods on ground, Ghost 1, 2 Vipers for a Ullman 2 departure from runway 36. Request ground abort from my 3 and 4, and then a taxi to hold short runway 36 at the EOR.
Ghost 1, roger. Ghost 1, roger. Good evening, Ghost 1. You are number 1 for departure. Taxi Alpha and hold short runway 36.
Alpha and hold short runway 36 for Ghost 1. Ghost 1, chocks and pins. Ghost 1, taxi in sequence, 1's taxi.
Good taxi.
Ghost 1-1, contact tower for takeoff. Switch to 29230.
29230 for Ghost 1. So that's one thing you may have noticed. in the SOPs. So where we're directed to a frequency as a flight by a ground agency, or even an air agency, but that doesn't happen much in the game, as you know. But we will not call push uniform ... We just take that instruction as being heard by the flight, and then we don't do a check-in on each frequency. Where data link's working, we can just check it on data link, but we just trust pilots to do it right, kind of thing. And if there's any issues, they'll soon work it out and get themselves back onto the right frequency.
2.
And speaking of which, can't see you on data link. Have you got yourself on demand, or are you not on uniform 3?
I am on set to DMD. I am now on uniform 3, on COM 1 channel 3.
Yep, got you now. So probably just that you hadn't switched over to uniform 3 yet, that's all. So I don't know if you know this, I don't know if it was in BMS when you were flying, but the data link is tied to the uniform radio, and it's actually tied specifically to the frequency you're on uniform, assuming you've got it set for uniform, which we do by default. So therefore, if you're not on data link and the data link goes dead, odds are on A, the flight lead stopped posting continuous for whatever reason, or the other side of it is that you could be on the wrong uniform. Someone's moved a uniform channel.
Yeah, copy. Yeah, that wasn't a thing. Also, I am reading yardstick at 1.4 miles.
Yeah, I'm getting that as well. Let's just recycle the yardstick over to 16 and just see what that does, because I've had that since the start. I think that might be a gremlin or a bug or something.
Is on yardstick 16.
Yeah, I'll go 16, you go 79.
It's a good stick.
Yeah, so. Alright then, so well, we've done most of the EOR check as a result of that anyway. We'll go through the motions. Ghost 1, EOR check. 1 is balls, 178, 124. Yardstick sweet, dolly is sweet, HMCS is alright.
2 same.
Don't really need to do the HMCS one either. The only reason we do that is because it was relatively new to the game in 3.6, so we added it to the EOR checklist just to make sure people were doing it and they hadn't forgotten about it, but we'll probably stop doing that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it was a thing in BCS too, so people that were very proficient with the Viper coming over, they should know to do it on the ground and in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Alright then, notice you've got your landing lights on, so it's interesting you've done that. We will typically take off with our taxiway lights on, except at night where we douse the lights completely. Do you guys used to take off on the landing lights?
Yeah, taxi on the way over to while taxiing, use the indicated light for taxi, and then the landing lights for departure. That way, it's also a thing on landing. Already have the landing lights up.
You know what? I hadn't thought of it like that. That's a really good shout. I mean, we used to do it. I used to teach that, always check your landing lights when you take off, when you do your fence checks, and just check. But actually, what you've got there's a really logical flow to that. So, thanks for that, Viscus. I'm going to have to update the SOPs again now.
My pleasure.
No, but I like that. That's a lot easier. So let's do that way round. I like that. Right then. I don't know about you, but I can't be bothered to wait for the takeoff time, and we can just fly to contract 360 knots if you want.
Let's do it.
Roger that. Gunson Tower, Ghost 1 is taxiing to hold short runway at 36 for departure. Ghost 1 taxi in sequence, 1's taxi.
Good taxi.
Ghost 1, hold short. Ghost 1, Kunsan Tower, wing 030 at 6 knots, runway 36. You are cleared for takeoff.
Ghost 1 will position and hold runway 36 for departure. Ghost 1, position hold runway 36, echelon left.
2.
Right, so Ullman 2 is a visual route. It's essentially a straight line departure until you hit the water. The visual reference point we use is called Daewoo. It's when you go over the top of the Daewoo factory, which is clearly marked Daewoo. If you've never seen it before, it's quite amusing. Then there's a slight right-hand turn. There's a double island in front of us that we call Twins. There's a slight turn towards Twins once you cross Daewoo. Then there's another reference point where you'll be aligned to the river and the north bank of the river and the bridge that crosses the river. At that point, we will start moving towards the final exit point for Ullman 2, which is what we call Junction, and you'll see it as we fly towards it. It's basically the northwest corner of the city on the other end of the bay. But all you need to do, obviously, is just follow me, so that's easy enough. But just so you know what we're doing.
Right. 2.
And Ghost 1 reference steer point 3.
2.
Kunsan Tower, Ghost 1 is clear for takeoff runway 36. Ghost 1, run him up. Brakes, release.
Ghost 1-1, contact departure.
Contact departure for Ghost 1. Kunsan departure, Ghost 1 is airborne passing Daewoo.
Ghost 1, Kunsan departure. Fly heading 030. Resume on navigation.
So we ignore that instruction when we're flying a VFR route, and we just continue to fly the route.
Yeah, I assume the AI at the ATC at this time is not familiar with the VFR departure, the VFR or VFR instructions.
Yeah, especially not the ones that I wrote, because the VFR routes that we use at the moment are not the ones that are on the plate for Gunsan. The ones that are on the plate for Gunsan weren't particularly useful. If I remember correctly, they come in directly from the north or directly from the south, and first of all, they weren't particularly interesting, and secondly, they weren't particularly helpful for the types of headings that you would normally come back in from or depart from. So I wrote these patterns myself and sort of came up with a naming convention for them. So just for reference, we're just at Junction now. That city down to our bottom right hand side. Underneath us right now there's a sort of a funny road junction that's quite visible. We use that junction as our marker, especially on the way back in if you're flying the route in to land north to south.
2.
2, kick out to the spread left, 1 more.
2.
So I don't know if that was a zipper or if that was just your microphone doing your microphone-y thing, but if it was a zipper, SOPs mandate no zipper. Not a problem for a 2-ship flight, but I just wanted to highlight it in case we were in a multi-flight. It's not a problem if you're flying 2-ship, but it is if you're in a 3 or a 4-ship, because no one knows who's zippering at any given point.
Yeah, I'm I'm not trying to do it, but it is happening.
Roger that. Alright, well in which case I'll just ignore it if it happens again.
No, actually, if it happens, call it out so I can make sure that my whatever I was trying to say, if it was overall important, comes across.
Roger. Good time departure, Ghost 1 is north of Ullman 2, switching frequencies. Ghost 1, push uniform 6.
Yep.
So as it's a push call, you don't have to acknowledge it if you don't want to. You can, but you don't have to. Alright, so from this point on the flight path we'll do silent delay turns, now we're all lined up and looking good.
Yep.
Ghost 1, check in on tap.
Ghost 1 2.
Nice.
Choose mud bar lock left 11 o'clock.
2, same intermittent, disregard, he won't bother us on this hop.
Yep.
Okay, so just for reference, that was obviously that was an in place, but we're doing delay turns. So these are, don't know, maybe I said in place, in which case I'm an idiot, but we'll do delays for all of the next turns.
Ah, okay, copy that. Yeah, okay. At each steer point, we'll do a delay. Got it now.
So do you think you'll go for the F-15 when it comes out in DCS?
Absolutely not.
Really?
I'm done giving Eagle Dynamics any money. The only money I plan to ever give them, if it comes to that, is going to be for the Eurofighter.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm a big fan of the Eagle, so I'm definitely going to fly it and have a go with it. But I think Andrew said it the best. You're gonna wake up one morning to fly the F-15 in DCS, and you're going to realise there's nothing more to do in there.
Pretty much. For me, the only other exception to that not giving money to ED rule would be a Rafale module, but that's like, I don't think that's even ever going to happen, so yeah. It's going to be the Eurofighter when and if that comes around, and I'm not planning on anything else, not even maps.
I'd go for a Griffin. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know it's arguably just a miniature Typhoon, but I quite like the Griffin.
Yeah, it's a nice, very nice aircraft, but yeah.
At the end of the day, you still got to fly it in DCS, right?
Exactly. You gotta give Eagle Dynamics money.
On the upside, now that they've decoupled the avionics from the F-16 in BMS, all right, it's all going to be community-led and probably community-focused mods essentially. But goodness knows what we could end up with for to fly in this. I mean, I'll happily delete DCS if they bring out sort of what I would call a DCS quality module, but with BMS reliability and stability of the F-15E, because I wouldn't need anything more from BMS at that point.
I'm hopeful. I mean, people have been doing at least that I know of, a bunch of stuff. For example, for the Mirage, I think it's very well developed as far as like weapons and all that stuff goes. That's an aircraft I'd fly primarily if they ever come out with like a flight model and avionics for the Mirage Dash 5, which is the modernized version, or even the Delta version, the Mirage 2000 Delta.
Is the Delta a glass cockpit?
I believe the modernized versions of them are. They're pretty much F-15E.
Oh, I could be tempted by that myself. One of the best two-ship formation displays I've ever seen at an air show was the Ramat Delta team when they were flying the Mirage 2000s, and that was an amazing sequence that they ran.
Yeah, I watched them live a few times on different occasions when I lived in France.
It's a lovely aircraft. It's a shame they're out of service now.
The Mirage? You mean the Ramax Delta?
Yeah, I don't know. Mind you, that being said, are you guys flying Mirage anymore?
They are. I mean, they transition a bunch of the Air Force to the Rafale, and as countries buy the Rafale, the French Air Force gets like a bunch more on them. But they do still fly the Mirages, and the Deltas have been modernized. They're still around. Not the Novembers. The Novembers have been retired, but the Deltas have been around, and also the Mirage 2000-5, the air superiority version, still around as well.
Oh, that's nice. So I can live in hope that there'll be a good French display for that coming out at some point.
They still run them. It's now called, before it was Ramax Delta, and then the team transitioned to Mirage 2000 Deltas, and I think it's called the team, if it still exists, I believe it does, I need to Google it up, but it's called the Kuto Delta or something like that.
Oh, well, fingers crossed. I mean, I didn't think the showing for Riyadh this year was particularly good, so here's hoping next year's will be better.
They started out last year a two-ship of Rafale. The French Air Force had a solo display for the Rafale for the longest time, and now last year they initiated a two-ship for Rafale display.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be amazing. The Ramat Delta, but as a two-ship, that'd be awesome. Sorry, I took that turn too early. It's your fault making me think about mirages.
Yeah, the Mirage is a nice looking aircraft. I flew it a bunch on a few missions for VFW back in BMS days. But it was still like F-16 avionics, and the flight model I think was the most developed, other than the F-16, but still just a modification on the F-16.
Yeah, I don't know too much about how these things work, but I really am hoping now that, whatever this decoupling means, that people can essentially go there and go, right, well, this is how the Mirage's avionics work and systems work and the flight model for it, and this is an Eagle and here's a Typhoon or whatever, because these things are out there. There's various versions of it that are passable on things like Microsoft Flight Simulator and all of that, or DCS. And you just sit there and you think, God blimey, you could have anything you want if people are willing to put the time into it.
True. However, the French systems, the laws that protect them are pretty draconian. And I think it was some post about the post made by Razbam about developing a modernized version of the Mirage, because they have the 2000C, but that's like old school version of the Mirage 2000. And they were talking about some time ago about developing the 2000-5. But apparently the French Air Force changed their minds. They were going to give them some access to the aircraft and documentation on all that and simulators, but I guess they changed their mind. It's not going to happen anymore.
That's a shame. I mean, I can understand, I can absolutely understand that, but it amazes me that people are allowing True Grit and Heat Blur to do the Typhoon, but I'm not going to argue if you see it, even if it is a bit of a, don't look too closely if you actually fly this thing for real, but as long as you don't fly it for real, it's just going to be good fun, and it's going to be passably accurate. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, agreed. I could be convinced of the same for the Rafales, to be honest. If that was to ever come out with the accurate avionics and a decent flight model, I'd probably shelve for the most part the F-16.
Yeah, I mean, I fly the F-16 under duress in BMS. I've got no real love for it as an aircraft. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad aircraft. It's a very capable aircraft. But it just doesn't excite me massively, that's all.
For me it does, I love it, but the Rafale, once I started seeing it in real life on several air shows in France, I was completely like, this one.
Yeah, I can get that, she's a lovely aircraft.
That would be, if it ever came to it, the only aircraft that someone could convince me to start learning and actually getting proficient at carrier ops if they ever released the naval version of that aircraft.
Yeah, I mean, I like carrier ops personally, and if it wasn't for the fact that the Eagle's coming out in DCS and in BMS it's just essentially an F-16, I would definitely fly the Hornet, and I'd enjoy the carrier ops as well. I kind of like that. It's something, just something a bit different,
Yeah, I was never very good at the carrier ops. I could never getting a hang of it, so yeah, I was never too much my cup of tea. I do have the super carrier module, but I just like taking off, and I just used to like taking off and landing on it occasionally, nothing too serious. However, I never got really good at it.
Yeah, there's certainly a skill set there, and it's a bit like air-to-air refueling. If you find yourself not doing it for a couple of months, having got used to it, you'll struggle. It's a very perishable skill set. Right, as luck would have it, we're in the right position for when we turn onto the range, so we don't need to do a shack or anything. That's good.
could do a couple if you want to practice them.
Yeah, just before we do, one thing occurs to me is I didn't give you the Kotar range frequency. So we tend to use uniform 20 for the range. So just while we're here, if you want to set your uniform to 306.8.
306.8 channel 20 set.
Roger, okay, all good. Just to get myself back where I should be. Alright, so some shackles then. Let's just let you get up into position and then we'll do a couple. I'm just going to make sure we end up in this position, otherwise I'll forget and we'll be in the wrong position when we get to the turn. Honestly, I am a good flight lead, honest.
I don't call that in question.
Many would.
Many don't lead flights.
Yeah, that's true. It's amazing the number of people that just don't want to do that. I quite like it. It's a different skill set.
I just do it so I don't have to fly formation with people. They need to fly formation off of me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Alright then, Ghost 1, shackle, go.
Do.
I was late and loose on the recovery there.
Still ended up in Still ended up at 1.3 mile. It's fine.
Yeah, I think that was mostly me than you. Alright then, let's go back the other way then. Ghost 1, shackle, go.
Yep.
Just for reference, as requested, your microphone did that thing again there.
Copy.
Just so you know, all I actually heard on that one was the squelch. I didn't hear anything else. It was just a static feed, and that was it.
Yeah, I'm considering switching up the keys for the presses too. I need to think of that. It is not the same setup I used to use. In IVC. So I'll see. I'll try to do something similar to that. Hopefully it's better because it defaulted to one of the 4-way hats, but I'll need to. I have an idea of how to reassign them, and hopefully it'll run better.
Yeah, roger that. And just for reference, you cut out again when, I don't know what word you were going for, but again, it began with a B, I think, when set them back, I think you were going to say. But all I got was set them, and then you cut again.
No, I was saying hopefully it'll run better.
Oh, better, yeah, absolutely. flights. Just as we're moving to the range, I'll just rebrief the serials we're going to run at the range. So we're going to do a in-place 90 right from steer 9 onto steer 10, which is the range. I'll leave you to pick whatever targets you want at the range. I'm going to use one of the range circles just for consistency. We will do the first 3 passes from 12,000 feet, high angle, low drag. I'll run about a 35-degree wire for that one. Then the next 3 sequences will be 8,000 feet, low angle, low drag. I'm going to run about a 20-degree wire for that one. Bombs are coming off in pairs. No guns, no level pass. The first pass will be hot. We'll check into the range just before we get to steer 9. Once we're off the range and we're done, we'll move towards steer 11 and we'll try and pick up the tanker on the way home. Any questions?
Yes, one question. Do I have to set up some sort of fuse, or just nose to tail, and that it's gonna work just fine?
I don't tend to use the fuse for these bombs. Nose to tail will work, nose will work, but the pragmatic reality is that none of the fusing is accurately modelled in BMS, at least not yet as far as I'm aware. It's one of the things I'd really like to see, so that you could actually set proper delays on the bombs. But I think, one of these things hopefully the dev gods will give us in the future.
No, I was asking because the other day I was practicing and I was struggling to see the smoke plumes. Either they were really small, or I wasn't seeing them, or they weren't just igniting the smoke plume. So I'm not sure what that was. That's why I wanted to ask if there was something I was missing in the setup.
Yeah, so for that one, just set your arming delay to 0. What's happening there is that whatever the fuse timer is on the arming delay, you're just not giving it enough from release to impact, and because they don't model it correctly, it essentially counts as a done as far as the game is concerned.
Okay, so I'll just set it as a fraction of a second arming delay and be done with it.
Yeah, it's pretty technical. Sentry 1, Ghost 1 is switching to Kotar range. Ghost 1, push uniform 20. Kotar range, good afternoon, I think it is. Good morning. Ghost 1 is 2 Foxtrot 16s, looking to run 6 passes with training bombs, operating from 12,000 feet to 8,000 feet, 3 passes high angle low drag, 3 passes low angle low drag. We'll call our entries and exits to the range. We will call our base turns in, off, and we will call if off dry with any parameters. And I'm sure at this point the guy would give me a lovely conversation about whatever he's doing today and the type of coffee he's drinking, but sadly we don't have range operators in the game yet. I'd love to see it, but we just don't. Right, Ghost 1 in place, 90 right, go.
Yep. Pretty sure they give out, if you ask, they'll give you a QFE.
Yeah, I think they give you a QFE, but not much use, unfortunately. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is. I take the point of it, but what I'd really like is to have a bit of an interaction with the range operator and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, never mind.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Ghost 1, fence in, nose hot, lights on.
2.
1's fenced in, fuel 7.8.
2's fenced in, 7.1.
Roger that, 1's accelerating to mil power, range pattern, speed will be 420 knots. I'm descending now to 12,000 for the first pass. And just to make it fun, the range looks like it might be under a cloud.
2.
And just as a reminder, although you've probably all coming screaming back to you. The range is a right-hand pan.
Two.
Right, okay, so I've ballsed that up already. So 1 off-drive parameters. Ghost 1 off-drive parameters.
Ghost 1-2 off drive parameters.
Bingo. Bingo.
Use Joker.
Copy Joker. Reset bingo. Ghost 1 in.
Ghost 1-2 in.
One's off. Ghost 1 off.
Chaff. Flare. Altitude. Altitude.
Ghost 1-2 off, 2 away.
Chaff. Flare. Chaff. Flare. Chaff. Flare.
Ghost 1 in.
Ghost 1-2 in.
Ghost 1 off.
Altitude. Altitude.
Ghost 1-2 off, 2 away.
Chaff. Flare.
Ghost 1 base. Ghost 1 in.
Ghost 1-2 base.
Ghost 1 off. One's resetting to 8,000 feet for low angle, low drag.
Ghost 1-2 in. Much better.
Chaff. Flare.
Altitude.
Ghost 1-2 off
Altitude.
2-way. Resetting 8,000.
Chaff. Flare.
Ghost 1-1 base. Ghost 1-1 in. Ghost 1-1 off.
Ghost 1-2 base.
Chaff. Flare. Altitude. Altitude.
Ghost 1-2 off. 2-way.
Ghost 1-1
Chaff.
base.
Flare.
Ghost 1-1 in. Ghost 1-1 off.
Ghost 1-2 base.
Chaff. Flare. Chaff. Flare. Altitude. Altitude.
Ghost 1-2 off. 2-way.
Ghost 1-1 base.
Chaff. Flare.
Two enable, reset steer point 11.
2.
Ghost 1-1 in.
Bingo. Bingo.
Choose bingo.
Copy bingo. Ghost 1-1 off and departing the range to the south-southwest.
Ghost 1-2 base. Ghost 1-2 in.
Altitude. Altitude.
Ghost 1-2 off. 2-way.
Caution. Caution.
Ghost 1-2 leaving the airspace.
Kotar range, Ghost 1 is off the range. We'll be switching our noses safe very shortly. We are departing reference 220 and switching out of your frequency. Ghost 1, fence out, nose cold lights on. Ghost 2, fence out.
2.
One's fenced out, fuel's 4.8.
2's fenced out, 4.6.
Roger that, rejoin echelon left loose. I'm doing 300 knots at about 12,000 feet, waiting for your recovery, then we'll move up and over to the tanker.
2.
And Ghost 1, push uniform 6. Ghost 1, checking on tactical.
Ghost 1-2.
One's accelerating to 360 knots.
2.
I'm going to start the climb now. I'll hold the thrust where it is, but I'll keep the climb at 360 knots. I don't suppose you've seen the tanker anywhere, have you?
Negative, I got the track marked, but I do not see him.
Yeah, I'm the same. Have a chat with the AWACS, see if the AWACS knows.
Set of left.
Visual. Sentry 1, Ghost 1, request vector to Texaco 1.
Ghost 1, Sentry 1, Tanker, Texaco 1, bearing 285, 10 miles, Tecan Channel 29er, Yankee. Ghost 1, Sentry 1, Tanker, Texaco 1,
Yeah, I'm visual on him. He's
547.
slightly high above us in just right 2 or 3 fingers right of the sun. I'm going to start bringing us round. Stand by for some fairly aggressive manoeuvres. Fly loose.
Yep.
Coming right.
Bingo. Bingo.
Ooh, chicken.
Copy, chicken. Are you happy for the tanker?
More than happy.
Roger that. We'll keep moving towards the tanker. Sentry 1, Ghost 1 is checking out of your frequency onto Texaco 1. Ghost 1, push uniform 1-3. Ghost 1, pre-fueling checks.
2. Alright,
so I think our refueling plan for this one, let's refuel to 6,000 pounds. I think that'd be more than enough.
2.
Texaco 1, Ghost 1 is 2 Vipers requesting about £2,000 apiece.
Ghost 1-1, Texaco 1-1. You are number 1 to refuel. Ghost 1-1, Texaco 1-1. Clear to pre-contact position.
Ghost 1-1, cleared for free contact.
Ghost 1-1, Texaco 1-1. Heads up, tanker is entering turn. Ghost 1-1, Texaco 1-1. Cleared to contact position.
Ghost 1-1, cleared for contact.
Contact.
Contact, good flow, request 2,000.
$1,000.
1,000 to go.
$2,000.
2,000, Ghost 1. 1 disconnecting.
Disconnect.
Pushing the tanker to you. Ghost 1-1, done refueling.
Ghost 1-2, Texaco 1-1. Clear to pre-contact position. Roger.
Clear to pre-contact position, Ghost 1-2.
Ghost 1-2, Texaco 1-1. Cleared to contact position.
Clear to contact position, Ghost 1-2.
Ghost 1-2, stabilized. Contact.
Contact, good flow, Ghost 1-2.
$1,000. 2,000.
Ghost 1-2 disconnecting.
Disconnect.
Ghost 1-2 done refueling. Thank you.
Roger.
So I'm just going to climb us above the tanker up to 23,000 just because he does tend to creep in towards us otherwise.
2.
Ghost 1, post refueling checks.
2.
Topco 1, thanks for the fuel. Ghost 1 is off your frequency now to Sentry. Ghost 1, push tactical. Ghost 1, check in on tactical.
Ghost 1-2.
Alright, 2, we've got 45 to run until steer 11 and then we'll straight shot it back to Gunsan. Accelerating now to 360 knots, we'll stay at 23 until we start the descent.
2. One, 2, I have the, what I assume is the AWACS on the scope, roughly 60 miles. I suggest we take a simulated MRAM shot at it.
Oh yeah, good reminder, thanks for that. Kick out left, just loosen up a bit and we'll both go nuts. Obviously just make sure you're in simulate mode, we don't want that on our chip, do we?
2, yeah, we could do like a ripple 2 shot, see if the, like, shoot off one, wait like 15 seconds, shoot off another one, like get 4 simulated missiles in the air, 2 apiece, and then see if the TAC view tracks any of those.
Roger that. Well, you reminded me, so you can have the honours of the first shot.
You shoot it.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to fire one at our ops and one at our pry and see how that does. What would be really good, I know it's completely unrealistic, but for the purposes of the simulation would be to have the little missiles show up on the HSD.
I'm not sure if they show up on the HSD. I'm not sure if the F-16 tracks that sort of thing IRL. But supposedly these new simulated AMRAMs are supposed to be the shots are supposed to be picked up on TAC view, and that's what I'm curious going on. We can reproduce it. That is.
Roger that. And 2, just for reference, if you want to reference, you're heading to steer 12 just once we're done with this.
Yep. Alright, taking my first simulated shot now. Ghost 1-2, Fox 3, Bullseye 148 for 138, 34, Angels 34 cold.
Shaft,
Alright, I'm going to take my shot. Oh, that's nice, you get a little tone for it. One's cranking right. How does it know? It's dark magic.
Supposedly, mine just timed out. Oh no, it's not. Oh yeah, it is. The symbology, I think it's showing a timeout.
Mine's all good for now.
Alright, take another shot.
Got 20-second target.
Ghost 1-2, Fox 3 again. Fox 3 short. Bullseye 148 for 142, 32 cold.
Alright, I'm going to take a shot while this guy's turning into me, Fox 3. And I'm not going to crank, I'm just going to follow you round to the left side of this guy.
If we want him to be super duper trooper realistic, we should have asked him if he agrees to be intercepted.
Ironically, if you notice the behaviour of this guy, he's now gone into a rapidly descending manoeuvre. So I don't know whether that is the way they've coded it and the AI genuinely thinks it's being attacked, or whether he's essentially pretending to be attacked for the purposes of the simulation. That's interesting. It's be fun to see what happens there. Alright, let's move out of simulation back onto Master Arm Safe. I'm just crossing under your nose now, right to left. Rejoin in echelon right for recovery.
Is visual.
And I'm coming right now onto Steer 12. And because we're up quite high, I'm going to start my descent as well, because we're already past the point of the descent system. We have a fairly fast descent, about 4 or 5 degrees.
I wasn't expecting the little beeps.
No, neither was I. It did rather catch me out. I do remember reading about it in the notes for the release when it happened. I'd clean forgot before then. Next thing we're going to have to work out is what happens when we shoot each other. Does it give you a kind of "you're dead" kind of message?
Unless, I don't think so. I think you need a PK chart for that. That sort of calculation is done and called out by the AWACS dudes in training.
Yeah.
Well, I can try right now. I can lock you up and shoot you.
Yeah, give it a go. Drag into trail and see what happens.
Yes.
And then when you come back in again, you can try a Fox 2 as well and see what happens with that.
Okay, stand by. Fox 3 simulated.
getting anything yet.
I heard a little like radar, well, not radar, radio push, and then that was it. And the subtitle showed key mic.
Roger that. Alright, rejoin mission right loose for the recovery, and as you're coming in close, feel free to take a box to me and see what happens there.
The Fox 2 isn't just giving me a tone.
Oh, maybe they must have done it to the AMRAMs then. I can't imagine you have to call the seeker head, because that would be a bit weird, wouldn't it?
Lock.
Yeah, I was trying no beeping, so I guess it only does the beeping for the AMRAM.
Yeah, maybe that's all we'll see in TAC view as well.
Unless unless I'm missing something. It could very well be the case.
Just one thing to bear in mind as you'll probably end up flight leading in the future, you'll notice that we don't tend to call that we're crossing the transition altitude. We do it for trainee pilots just to help them get used to it, but by the time we move to OCU we leave it, because we'd normally leave it for pilots to work out during their flights.
It's a good job that I totally didn't forget that, and I totally didn't catch that on camera.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure you didn't, and I'm very, very certain you were just testing me anyway, weren't you?
Yes. Making sure you were paying attention.
Exactly.
The fact that I didn't do it was like a testament to that specifically.
Absolutely. I mean, how are you supposed to test me otherwise? Okay, so just to cover off the recovery briefing, we're going to run BOPTA 3. Don't worry, that probably is completely meaningless. Go through the visual cues for it another day when it's not behind a cloud. But we'll run a BOPTA 3 recovery, roll in on the runway heading for an SOT break into runway 36. And just for reference, I'm going to be passing 6,000 feet, heading 5. So the entry point for this one, BOPTA 3, we enter these points inbound at 5,000 feet, and then we start the descents from there. Sentry 1, Ghost 1 is switching frequencies for good sign. Ghost 1, push uniform 4. Good sign approach. Ghost 1 is 2 Vipers inbound for runway 36 via BOPTA 3. We are passing, we're at 5,000 feet and we are about 25 miles to your southeast.
Ghost 1-1. Doing a sound approach. Continue inbound. A straight-in approach. Runway 36. Welcome back. QH1010.
1 to clarify this BMS-ism for me real quick. So you just called approach. Does that handle the entire flight, like the tanker, or is it just for your aircraft and I need to call them?
It depends. Sorry, it depends on the type of approach that you're flying. So I'll cover that in the debrief because I'm going to have to do a sticky out tongue face here in a minute. But it is dependent on the type of flight. The type of recovery you do.
Ghost 1-1. Contact tower for landing. Switch to 29230.
29230
Ghost
to go.
1-2.
Gunsan Tower, Viper 1 is approaching Bopter 3. Call initial for an overhead brake to land. Two, switch echelon right for the brake.
2, switching sets. Isn't push.
Gunsan Tower, Ghost 1 initial. Ghost 1-1, brake land.
This one doesn't work.
Bingo. Bingo.
Ghost 1-1, finals, gear down.
Ghost 1-1, Kunsan Tower. Continue inbound for runway 36. Report on final.
Ghost 1-2, finals to land. Gear down.
Ghost 1-1, Kunsan Tower. Wing 030 at 6 knots. Runway 36. Cleared for landing. Check gear down. Ghost 1-2, Kunsan Tower. Continue inbound for runway 36. Report on final. Ghost 1-2, Kunsan Tower, wing 030
One
at
close
6
right.
knots, runway 36, cleared for landing. Check gear down.
One's clear of the active at Echo.
Ghost 1-1, contact below. Switch to 73525.
273525 for Ghost 1 once the flight's cleared the active.
Ghost 1-2, contact below. Switch to 73525.
Sun Tower, Ghost 1-2, active vacated at Echoes, pushing ground.
Ghost 1 pushing the form 2.
Ghost 1-2.
So just a couple of quick points of reference for the landing. So first of all, we just changed the SOPs for some of the calls, so do take another look. Sorry about that, because it's changed since I first gave them you. So do take another look at the SOPs. When we go into the break, per I kind of like it anyway, but per what Jethro was saying, the way the RAF seem to be doing it now is that they come in over the top and they call break land, which I quite like actually. So it's just Ghost 1-1 break land on uniform, and then 2 will call Ghost 1-2 break land. And you're starting your count from the berth in break land. That's when you start your count. On the perch, it's just Ghost 1-1 finals gear down or Ghost 1-2 finals gear down. Again, that's a slight alteration from where the SOPs were based on Jethro's input, which is all good. And then just a couple of points on the approach regarding calling finals to the tower, i.e. the keybinds and stuff. It's up to you whether you do it or not. We're not that bothered. If you want to call it so that the tower doesn't yell at you, that's fine. But if you don't, it's no drama. When you touch down and you've moved yourself over to the cold side, on Victor it's just a quick 2 cold side right or 1 cold side right, as you come in. That does 2 things. It lets me know that you've touched down, you're not aborting, and it reminds everyone else where the cold side is in case someone's forgotten or not been paying attention. When you exit the runway, you just let me know that you're exiting the runway. I mean, I can see you anyway, obviously, but just for the sake of keeping it consistent, all you do is you just call 2's clear of the active or 2's clear of the active at Echo, but it's on Victor. What will happen is the flight lead will police up his whole flight, and then we'll call on uniform to the tower. Ghost 1 is clear of the active. It just keeps the frequency clear if other people are coming in behind us, we found. So that's just the reason we do that. And then finally, the last point to note is obviously you formed up on my right wing, but you'll see I gave you a spot to my left side. What we try and do is not cross behind someone's jet wash where we can avoid it. Sometimes you can't. So therefore, what the flight lead will do is he'll come to the EOR like this, and if we're a 4-ship, for example, I'll be starting in the spot just to the right of where you are, and I'd expect my number 2 to be where you are, and then number 3 where I am, and number 4 to my left now. And that's how we'd line up. So in theory, I'd have expected you on my left side here. And there's no bother, that's the whole point of all of these sessions. It's just to highlight where we do things a little bit differently, just so you know for next time, kind of thing.
Yeah, copy. That makes sense.
Alright then, well, it's pilot's choice. We can taxi back to the hard standings or we can do a shutdown here. When it's only a single flight in the environment, we're quite happy to shut down here. Obviously, if it's a multi-flight, we go all the way back to the hard standing and get out of the way from here as quickly as possible, but it's your call what you want to do.
Yeah, we can shut them down here.
Roger that. In which case, Ghost 1, clear to shut down and exit the sim when ready. Sun ground, Ghost 1 is at the EOR for runway 18 Echo. We are shutting down and exiting